Welcome in, everybody. It is time, as it already is Sunday morning for me, it is time to talk about AEW Full Gear 2025 here on BodySlamNet. My name is Max Dinenberg. I am joined, as always, for these AEW post shows with Blackhawk as we're breaking down all things AEW Full Gear. We have a lot to talk about. I can't even imagine how many matches we have tonight. We have 13 matches that we're going to be talking about tonight. This will be we're going to try to keep this to hopefully an hour, but we do have, I think, a lot of thoughts on a lot of events. We have new champions, especially in the main event. We have major returns, some unbelievable matches, a reunion of one of the most famous wrestling groups of the last 10, 15 years, a lot to get into. So welcome everyone into BodySlam.net. Blackhawk, before I promote some other stuff, before we get into the actual breakdown each of the matches, what were your overall thoughts on the show?
Overall, I thought Full Gear was awesome. I didn't have any real stinker matches outside of the tailgate brawl had one that I think was kind of a stinker. But everything else was really good. I thought it was really fun to watch. There was nothing that I lost attention while watching.
Yeah.
With some of these long pay-per-views, you can watch something and kind of lose your attention span on a lot of this stuff. But it kept my attention the entire time. Wasn't the best of the year, but still very, very good.
Yeah, I still their pay-per-views, I think, always over-deliver. I think if you look at and again, we're going to talk about some comments that just came in. We're going to get into all of the thoughts. We'll talk about the main event. I'll say this. I think overall, a lot of people were not expecting this to be one of the best AEW pay-per-views. Again, It's been a tough time from an injury perspective for AEW with Swerve, MJF, and Ospreay being out for such a long period of time. And I still think they've done a really good job momentum-wise, building some really good stories, still putting on really good matches. Obviously, you're still missing probably your top three of your top 5 or 6 male superstars. But they've really, I think, weathered the storm quite well. And that leads to, I think tonight was an excellent show. I would probably go 4 out of 5 for the show.
Yeah.
That's what's funny about coming on post shows like this right after the shows are over. I usually, if I'm just watching myself, I don't have to do a post show. I usually have a night to sleep on it, see what other people think about it. So I'm going to be interested if my thoughts change about what happened in the main event. I feel very split on, as of now, how I feel about it, because I love the performer who won the world title and the returning that we got at the end of the show. I just haven't come away thinking that was the perfect ending to Full Gear. But there were a lot of really special stuff, as always, on the show. So if you're joining us on any platform, welcome to the AEW Full Gear review. We are going to break down each individual match, give us our thoughts, preview. We're also going to talk about some Continental Classic specific things as well towards the end of this review. So if you're joining us, please hit that like button, comment away, just like our friend Tio did talk about his very unabashful thoughts on the main event. And if you have a comment about a particular match, we're definitely going to bring up that comment for that match. But this post show is only as fun as you guys commenting, joining with us, having the conversation with Blackhawk and myself. We have a podcast where a lot of people comment during our shows, and it makes it a lot more fun and energetic. So definitely join us in the comments and follow us and subscribe to BodySlam.net across all social medias. I also see you. It is Swerve's house. He is back. Very exciting news there. But if you're joining us, please comment away any thoughts on pro wrestling or really this show. We will definitely answer them. But again, if we're talking about a match early in the show, we're not going to get to your particular comment about a match in the later show. I want to attribute all of those to how we are. But again, I think it's already late, Blackhawk. I think it's time we will get into the show. Because I'll sprinkle in some promotion throughout. But if you're currently watching us on YouTube, also please subscribe. We have videos every single night, including post shows. But again, I'll stop promoting. Let's get into AEW Full Gear. The pre-show, the tailgate brawl. I still think a lot of people don't understand why it's on TNT and not just a 0-hour pre-show. AEW is required in their contract to give 4 hours of programming to Warner Brothers TV, TNT or TBS a week. So that's why they do a third hour on Wednesday, week of the pay-per-views for Collision. So that's 3 hours of programming, and then they add 1 hour for the pre-show to be on TNT with commercials. So that makes them have 4 hours, because again, normally on Saturdays they give TNT 2 hours. So that's the only reason why it's on TNT. They still do technically a 0 hour. That's a talk show with Renee, RJ, and Jeff Jarrett. But which you can still watch on their YouTube. But for matches, it's only on TNT with commercials. The show started with the $200,000 fatal 4-way match where the Bang Bang Gang of Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson defeated the Outrunners, Big Bill, Brian Keith, as well as Caster and Bowens. The story of this match was all revolving around Caster and Bowens. They were teasing a lot of acclaimed stuff, the Scissor Me Timbers move, which they ultimately didn't hit. They both teased they were, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but they were going to scissor at one point in this match. But it gets broken up, and Caster takes the pin. He was blaming, sorry, not Caster. Bowens takes the pin. He was yelling at Caster from the outside. And Juice Robinson was humping the bag of money after the victory. He has been doing some great promos about how he wants to save up for his 401k and his retirement plan. 100K, I think, will help out Juice Robinson. But
yeah,
this was a fun opening match to start the show, I thought.
Yeah, it was super fun. I wanted the Outrunners to win. You don't always get what you want, but I did enjoy the dynamic between Anthony Bowens and Max Caster throughout the entire event. Big Bill and Brian Keith really didn't do a ton.
No.
They just kind of broke stuff up every now and then.
Yeah.
Mostly Big Bill. Like, I forgot Brian Keith was in the match for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm glad the Bang Bang Gang is kind of coming back around, especially with one of the brothers out and Switchblade Jay White still out with no comeback date anytime soon.
And Holden Gun too.
Yeah, and so them being able to pick up a win is pretty good for them. And adding Ace Austin to the group is going to be really good. I look forward to what they build as, former Bullet Club. I don't believe Bang Bang Gang's part of the Bullet Club anymore.
No, originally it was like a Bullet Club Gold thing, but
yeah,
again, that was bad because Jay literally was kicked out of the Bullet Club to go to AEW. So
yeah,
Bang Bang Gang. But again, that's why Ace Austin's in the group. He has the Bullet Club ties. I think it would be better if they go trios than just 2 tag teams, because basically they've done the Juice and Austin thing, and Ace has kind of been left very much in the background since he's been in AEW.
Yeah.
He had a really good match on Collision 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago against Fletcher, but he's never on Dynamite. And I think it would be better if they, the trios need some work. There was no trios title matches on this show. We potentially got a trios reunion tonight. But I still think they need a lot of work for the trio, which is interesting because now the world champion is also a trios champion.
Yeah.
So, which is we're going to talk about towards the end of the show. But I thought this was I thought Austin and Juice were the only ones cutting real promos about what they would do by winning the money. And what do you feel? How your feelings are on Caster and Bowens at this point? Because they split off, obviously, and everyone thought this would benefit Bowens because he was clearly the stronger in-ring performer, and he had a lot of personality. And then kind of and everyone was really done with Max Caster towards the end of the Acclaimed run. And then after the split, Caster became way more over than he ever was. Bowens was getting booed trying to do babyface promos, and they're doing this thing where they're a tag team again, but they're not really want to be called the Acclaimed or anything. Like, what is your feeling on the direction of these two at this point?
It's been very interesting because I feel like if Anthony Bowens didn't get injured and didn't spend that time away, well, Max Caster stayed and ate pins for 3 months while he called himself the best wrestler in the world.
That's right.
And so it was a hilarious gimmick. Got really over. And then Anthony Bowens he kind of came back and really didn't have an idea of what he was doing. It felt like, whereas Max Caster had a very clear path ahead of him. And so I don't know what they do moving forward. I would assume that they either hash it out and get back together, or they end up going at it again for a little bit and then get back together.
Yes.
I feel like the only answer to this path is they get back together.
I do agree. Because I think they gave both guys chances for singles, and Caster, while that bit could get really old. So I think it's time to kind of capitalize on. I mean, even in this match, Bowens once again got booed when he came out. You know, he's from New Jersey, and Max was getting the pop. He got the chance. So I think it's a pathway to get them back together. I wouldn't drag this out for like months and months and months where they're kind of defense. Like I think you just got to at this point. I think that's what it is. Let's move on to the second match, which was the big fun celebrity type match. Big Boom AJ, QT Marshall got the win. Look at you, Black. Okay, you gotta say it. You gotta say it too.
AEW brings the boom.
There you go. And they defeated Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero. Paul White made his AEW return by being on commentary. He's only now in AEW just to commentate AJ match, Big Boom AJ matches, which has been weird. But the Ringside came out as well. Big Justice, the whole family was ringside. I'm not someone who seeks out their stuff on, so like it pops up. It's not something I like particularly want to sit down and watch all of their content, but I get why people like them. And I think you can tell that, obviously Big Boom AJ was someone who wrestled years and years and years ago before he moved on to what he ultimately did for his life. So he's obviously not just there as a random celebrity. He does care about the business itself. I once again had a very fun time with this match. I think this is such a harmless celebrity involvement. Again, this doesn't interfere with any main thing going on AEW, which is a nice sprinkle on a pre-show for another pay-per-view. All Big Boom AJ's matches have been pre-show matches for pay-per-views. I think it's just so harmless, and Rocky and Trent are just such professionals that they're just the perfect two people to be in the ring. Trent shoved Big Justice again, which I think was hilarious. Big Justice hitting a diamond cutter on Rocky Romero was in this match, but the ultimate was a doomsday device between AJ and QT to get the win. So what were your thoughts, Blackhawk, as you are the biggest, looking like Big Boom AJ fan?
Yeah, I love the Costco guys and the Rizzler. I think they're so funny and just very goofy. They're very fun to watch when you're kind of having a bad day. Just turn them on because they're just, everything they do is pure excitement and joy. But I jumped out of my chair when Big Justice hit the diamond cutter.
Yes.
I was like, that's crazy. And I'm begging Tony Khan to just let Big Justice take on Trent Beretta now. Just one-on-one Big Justice versus Trent Beretta. Because the story goes that he's been training with what's his name? What's the other guy with
QT?
Yeah, with QT Marshall. Yeah, so I think it would be hilarious. Maybe next pay-per-view, a 5-minute match with Big Justice and Trent Beretta in the pre-show. I think it would draw a lot of eyes. And it'd be a lot of fun. But the whole match itself was a lot of fun. RPG Vice, great sports at doing all this.
Yeah.
Paul White, it's always funny to see him around, and it just happens to be with the
Rizzler's
uncle.
I always forget when his music hits, and I'm like, Paul White, and then he comes out with
he's a big fan of the Rizzler, which is hilarious.
Yes.
And so I love everything about it. Great match. This is a great example of a good match that's definitely not a 5-star match, but it's equally entertaining.
I agree. I think, again, it's just harmless entertainment. I don't think, Big Boom AJ is not looking to be used in a big storyline or going for titles. He's just looking for these one-off spots. And he has a contract with AEW. And I think it works out for him that he has the contract. He pops up. He hasn't worked that often with them. It only helps AEW, get more people on the product. And yeah, I think, again, they've put the right people in with Big Boom AJ as well, which is very important in these scenarios. So harmless, good time. QT's been on such a good run since he re-signed up with AEW after he left the company a couple years ago. I was there in Philadelphia where he had the bloody match with Paul Walter Hauser, really fun match at Death Before Dishonor. He wrestled Big Boom AJ. QT's been really a benefit for the company since his return. He's been mostly behind the scenes, but when he's needed to work on screen, first of all, he's in the best shape of his life, and happy for him. He got the pin as well, which I thought was very nice. So QT and Big Boom AJ got the win. Now, talk about the match that did not need to be on the show. Hook and Eddie Kingston defeated the Workhorsemen in a match that went under 2 minutes. And Eddie Kingston won with a regular DDT. It was not the back fist or even like a dragon suplex. Workhorsemen beat up Eddie and Hook before the bell. They get in the ring, and right away, Eddie hits a DDT. Hook has JD Drake in the Red Rum. And after the DDT, Eddie just pinned Anthony Henry, and that was the match. I don't know what has gone wrong with Eddie, and I'm not blaming Eddie totally. There's something going on in these matches that's going wrong. His match against Big Bill was not good at All Out. We talked about that. Him and Hook have kind of just been there. Eddie's been wrestling like LFI a lot the last month, and once again, this match does not need to be on this show, even if it went 5 minutes. This is not a necessary match. Looks like they wanted to let you know Eddie and Hook were there to be a part of the main event, possibly. But it was a weird, I was paying attention as I always do to the match, but I had a friend over, we were talking, and then the match ended. I was like, didn't he just get a DDT? And he said he was just a DDT. And I was like, just weird, Blacker, just a weird match.
Yeah, this was the stinker I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I really like everybody in this match.
Me too.
But it was just I thought the Workhorsemen did great with when they were taking charge.
Yeah.
And then when Eddie Kingston and Hook kind of took over, it kind of fell apart. And then Eddie Kingston wasn't even in gear. He was just in a t-shirt, a snapback, and some pants. And so it didn't even feel like he cared about doing this match.
Yep. I felt the same exactly. He wore the hat for the whole match.
Yeah, and I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. He's in street clothes. It'd be one thing if this was they pulled him out of the crowd or whatever, or pulled him out of the back for last minute. But this was planned.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know what's going on with this Eddie Kingston return. I've seen some people talk about it he had a big injury. And they're trying to slowly work him back in.
They are, yeah.
But they're not doing a good job of even just slowly working him back in.
Yep. I love Eddie. The injury in the Gabe Kidd match, which was May of 2024, I believe. Bad injury. A lot of things were dislocated and broken in that injury, or torn, excuse me. He's going to be a key point now in this main event story, though, with obviously what Hook did in the main event. So I don't know if that's why they've been slowly working him, because they know Eddie's going to be now part of this main event program.
Yeah.
It's really, I have so many thoughts on the main event, so I'll say what I'm going to say. This match was definitely not for me. If Eddie's going to win in 2 seconds, at least let him hit a finish on it. He just hit a regular DDT, which I've watched Eddie Kingston for a long time. Never seen him win a match like that. So that happened. Now, backstage, there's an interview with Don Callis, the Young Bucks, and Josh Alexander. And out of nowhere, Alex Marvez says, Okada is not here yet for this trios match, which is next. And Are you worried about that? Because the Bucks are like, you shouldn't be worried about ushering the families. Like maybe Okada doesn't want to wrestle with Takeshita. And so that's what we know. Okada's not in the building yet. So there's 3 minutes left on the pre-show. And Takeshita and Hechicero come out to face Sky Team for the CMLL Trios titles. And this is the second straight pay-per-view where they're doing basically the main event of the tailgate becomes the opener for the main show. I think everyone who was watching the pre-show was like noticed it when there's like 6 minutes left and they had not even come out yet for the match. So they had, it's like a 3-on-2 assault. And then Hechicero takes out Mystico he hits him with the chair with his arm in the chair. So Mystico is off. And it becomes a 2-on-2 match for the trios titles. And then Okada shows up in his McLaren in full wrestling gear. And then we cut to black after that. Then we go to the main show. The 4 of them are still wrestling. We get the pyro. Everyone's on their feet. I think it's a good way to pump up the crowd. I don't think they should do this for every pay-per-view. I think it's better when it's like an out of nowhere thing. Like, oh my God, this becomes the opener for the match. I don't think they should be like an every pay-per-view thing because it just adds another match to the main show for AEW. But then Okada comes out, does the full entrance while everyone's still fighting. Takeshita is not happy about it. During this match, Mystico comes back out. Really good moments, I think, for Sky Team. They really got the time to shine. Everyone already knows how good Okada, Takeshita, and Hechicero are, but I think for the audience who don't watch CML, getting to see Neon for the first time, and then Mystico was amazing. His high-flying maneuvers were so quick and easy in this match, and Takeshita and Okada were really good bodies to use in this match, but it ended up being decided between Mystico and Hechicero. Even before this, Okada hit the Rainmaker on Takeshita by accident. Okada was laughing a lot after he hit it. This leads to Mystico hitting the move, tapping out Hechicero. Not surprising. They retain the trios titles, and we get the stare off between Okada begging for forgiveness for Takeshita while Don Callis is in between. So I thought this match overall was a lot of fun. The reason why is I thought they really they went over the moon to show the CMLL Trios tag champions. They were on offense, I felt like the whole match, and highlighting the 3 of them. So I thought from that perspective, it accomplished what they were doing. And also, obviously, it furthers Okada and Takeshita.
Yeah, this was great. Super fun match to watch. El Sky Team did incredible. I didn't think it was going to be so blatantly obvious that Okada was trying to screw over Takeshita.
Yeah.
But he just at one point
he punched
just
him.
wailed on his back. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, we're not holding back anymore. This is there's a obvious rift now. There's no oopsies on that one. So it really did do a good job on elevating talent from another brand they're partnering with, as well as pushing forward a story that they are going to be focusing on for the next couple weeks to months. So great match. Would definitely watch it again.
I think it's really become the A storyline for the company right now. This Takeshita Okada thing. It does feel like when we get to this match, it should be main eventing a big show, even if it's. I know, and again, we'll save what happened the backstage segment after the Fletcher match because that is important to add into the match. But it's become just an amazing storyline for AEW. Mascara Dorado, by the way, is not even, I think he's 23, 24 years old. That guy is unbelievable in the ring. And they've used him a lot he wrestled Okada and Takeshita in a triple threat at All Out. He just wrestled Okada on Dynamite. So Okada and Takeshita are familiar with all these guys. I think it made the match sync a lot better because there were some wonky moments in the Okada Dorado match on Wednesday, but I thought they cleaned a lot of that up on this show. But I think, again, they have done a really good job with this CMLL. But again, Hechicero is a CMLL wrestler who's basically become full-time AEW recently. He's done also just such good work. He's been one of my favorite performers the last 6 months in AEW. So happy to see everyone involved. That then Well, let's into the true opening match of the night, which was Pac defeating Darby Allin. There was a really good video package where after Pac did his entrance, Darby is in the hospital because of the 2nd-degree burns. And he has all this like mummified looking, he looks like a mummy because he has all this tape wrapped around him. Darby comes out. And again, going into this match, it was supposed to be about that this is a pure wrestling match. That Pac's point to prove here was that Darby only wins because he has all of the shenanigans and the fire and all of this stuff. And Pac says, I'm just the better wrestler than you. Darby was out wrestling him the first 5 minutes of the match was the story. And then it just got some crazy spot where Pac was on the edge of the ring and picked up Darby. And you think he's going to do the Claudio spot where he chucked him into the table, but he just drops him right on the ground. Filthy spot. There was a spot where Pac was sitting on a chair and Darby went off the top rope to out of the ring to kick him off the chair. But the big finish was so Pac also put Darby in the brutalizer. He went into the corner. Pac missed the Black Arrow, and Darby then put him in the Scorpion Deathlock, which has become Darby's finisher now since the I Quit match with Mox. And right as it looks like Pac is about to tap out, he just calls he's like calling for someone, calls Yuta. Yuta causes a distraction, and Pac gets the win over Darby Allin. Now, I thought the match was excellent, like really surprised. I thought this match really over-delivered. The crowd was hot for it. I don't think it needed a shenanigan way for Pac to win because they already wrote in the excuse of why Darby would lose a match because they literally had Pac rip off all the bandages and you could still see the burn marks on Darby. That was 10 days ago. And he had burn marks on his arm, on his back, on his stomach. I thought they did a good job just writing in a reason why Darby should lose a match. And I just didn't think it needed Yuta causing a shenanigan for Pac to win. It kind of was a whimper to a really good match. I still think the match was excellent. I just didn't need Yuta costing. They wrote in an excuse why Pac could have beaten Darby clean as a sheet, in my opinion, Blackhawk.
Yeah, I think this might be Darby's best singles match, like singles just straight up match of his AEW run. I don't really remember many other ones where he wasn't like using weapons or going through tables, but from my memory, this is definitely the best one. But the finish definitely makes Pac look weak. Like if he would have just tapped out, I think it would have the match would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And both of them would have walked away looking good. But now he's got to rely on Wheeler to come out to win the match.
Yep.
It just doesn't. I don't get it.
I also
because your point with like the burns, like they built in a reason for Pac to win, and Darby to lose, and both of them still walk out of here looking incredible.
Darby losing doesn't hurt him at all.
No, really not at all. No, Darby doesn't need to win a lot of matches because Darby's going to be remembered for what happened during the match. Nobody ever remembers the finish of a Darby Allin match. They just remember the middle of it where he almost dies.
Yes.
And even in the straight up just singles match, there were still spots where you're like, is Darby like okay? Are we gonna have Darby Allin next week? But yeah, it just didn't make any sense to have Wheeler come out.
I think,
especially with Pac, like the way they built him up and how he's like 1% body fat now. Like that guy looks incredibly strong.
Unbelievable.
And he can't win a match without Wheeler Yuta.
I thought it was such a good match, and I just didn't need the shenanigans. It felt like a very WWE finish to a match, and I just didn't think it was necessary. I think Pac. Now again, it's still a big win for Pac. In the record books, he beat Darby Allin. I think Pac, and we talked about this on our podcast yesterday. We both thought Pac needed a big win on a pay-per-view like this. And again, I didn't like the finish. It was an excellent match until the finish.
Very House of Torture of them.
It really was. And Moxley is not here to say that. That then takes us to the 4-way women's tag match. The winner of the match got to choose to sit because these are if you're not familiar, we're in the middle of the women's tag team championship tournament in AEW, the first ever AEW women's tag team champions. And we were at the semifinal stage. So they did all 4 teams that are in the semifinals, put them in a 4-way with the winner picking a stipulation for their semifinal match. So we have Timeless Love Bombs, Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa. They got the win over Babes of Wrath, Willow and Harley, Sinisters of Sin, Julia and Sky, plus Megan and Marina. I thought this match was fine. It's tough. Fatal 4-way tag matches are really tough, especially to gel everyone together, especially because it just felt like an over-convoluted match to have on the show where it's just for a stipulation for a semi-final match. It didn't feel that important of a match on the show. I think the show needs more women's matches on it. I just thought we could have maybe even done the semi-final matches on the show instead of doing this 4-way, which didn't really lead to much. But Toni and Willow win. Toni and Mina win. I still think Megan and Marina are the team that just stands out to me. I don't think they're going to win this tournament. Maybe they do. They're facing Toni and Mina in the semifinals. But, Marina has done such good work since she's been letting to do in ring. Megan, to me, is just you could book her right now to win the world championship and I wouldn't be angry at you. She's such a top. She looks different from everyone else. She moves differently. She's so strong. I feel bad that Penelope just keeps getting hurt, but I appreciate that she's still out there. Sinisters of Sin, also good team. There was definitely some weird miscommunication moments where some people just didn't know who was legal. Even the wrestlers couldn't tell who was legal in the match. So it kind of was a bit sloppy, but once Toni got in, I think the match really did pick up from there, but I thought it was fine. It was there, I think, Blackhawk, for me at least.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree that there needs to be some more women's matches on these shows, especially if we're doing 13 matches.
I know.
We could run a couple more women's singles or tag matches. But this fatal 4-way for a stipulation for a future match could have been done as the main event of a Dynamite.
I agree.
And done just as well.
Totally.
But yeah, it was. I love everyone that was in this match. I think AEW has an incredible future ahead of them with the women's division.
Yep.
And all of these women in that match. But it did fall a little short. It was a little clunky. And could have been on a weekly show and been incredible on a weekly show. But yeah, it just doesn't make any sense why we're not doing the actual semifinals on a pay-per-view like this.
We'll just get to the finals, something.
Yeah.
I agree. I think some spots I liked were both Megan spots. Megan hit a double suplex in this match. Made it look really easy. And every time Willow pounces Megan, it never gets old. Megan really does a good job selling that pounce. So I think they said on Dynamite is this week it will be Willow and Harley against Sinisters of Sin in the semifinals. So obviously they're not doing Toni, whatever this match is going to be. And World's End is December 27th. So basically they have a full month to get ready for this pay-per-view. So I think the finals will be at World's End. And I think they're going to spend 2 weeks actually building the match, give it a little story thing. Right now, who would you pick? Who do you think they're going to go with for the finals and the tag title match? And who do you think will win the tag titles?
I am still with Willow and Harley.
Okay.
I think Willow and Harley have put in a lot of work for the women's division just in general, and deserve at least a little bit of spotlight if they're going to get it. I don't think that I think Megan Bain and Penelope Ford would have been my pick if Penelope had stayed healthy.
Yeah.
But I think Mina Shafir needs to start getting on the hunt for that TBS title.
Sure.
And I think Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, a great team. Sisters of Sin, great team.
Yeah.
But I do think the Angels of Wrath. Is that what it is?
Babes of Wrath.
Babes of Wrath. I'm trying to read it and it's super small on my screen.
Yeah, Babes of Wrath. Yeah.
I do think the Babes of Wrath will walk away with the
Yeah.
titles.
I actually it's funny. I think both heel teams are the more interesting winners for this tournament. I think they're going to go with either Tony winning another title, or I agree with you. I think, I still think the missing story, because now Statlander is done with Mercedes. I think still Statlander and Willow needs to continue on. I think the best story left unfinished in AEW. So I don't know if they would just do that, but yeah, I think it's exciting that I actually don't know who's going to win the tournament. I couldn't tell you. I think both, it's unpredictable for sure. It's weird because none of these are actual, outside of Sisters of Sin, these three other teams are not real technically teams who tag team on a regular basis. So again, we shall see. Then we got to,
I also think it would be really cool if speaking on the Willow and Chris, I think it would be really cool if we got them together and maybe had an all women's faction. Because that's something you don't ever have outside of Joshi wrestling. Is women's factions. There's always maybe a woman within the men's factions.
Yeah, the only one I can remember is obviously that 2015 time where WWE had 3 different women's groups going on, but then you also had more famous Damage Control, for example. But yeah, I'm right. I think AEW does need an all women's faction. It's weird because Willow, they have to finish the Willow thing. Either they have to have a match together, or they're just friends. Something has to happen with that.
They have to solidify where they stand with each other.
Because Tony's in an interesting spot too, right? Where she should not be near the world title picture. We also need her on TV every week doing something important.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you could say, well, she beat Mercedes earlier this year, so why she should, on that basis, be in line for a TBS title match. I just don't think they're going to have Tony win the TBS title. I think whoever needs to beat Mercedes for this title needs to be someone who needs a title. You know what I mean? Something like that. Could be a Willow.
Yeah.
Could be a Megan Bain, whoever it is. Someone like that who needs a big title. I don't think Tony needs to be winning. It's a weird predicament they're in where they need her on TV every week, but they don't. She shouldn't be near any of the 2 singles titles, I don't think. So
yeah, and then the only other option would be sending her down to Ring of Honor and winning the.
Yeah, but she's not
winning from Athena. She's not going to do that.
I watch it every week. I can't imagine they send Tony down there. Let's move on to. I don't know if this is a hot take. This might be my favorite match on the show. FTR beats Bandito and becomes the new tag team champions. They are now 11-time tag team championships against across all of the promotions: AEW, NXT, the Raw tag titles, Ring of Honor, AAA, New Japan, 11 times. This match was phenomenal. FTR, you just expect to have classic matches on pay-per-views if it's a one-on-one. They've been in a lot of 4-ways or 3-ways on pay-per-views lately. It's just good to see an old-fashioned regular tag team match for the tag titles. Brody and Bandito, a team that I don't think Tony, if you told Tony at the beginning of the year, would be this level. I think Bandito is my wrestler of the year. He just continues to put on unbelievable matches. Let's go through some spots, I guess. There's a spot where Stokely was about to interrupt Bandito, and then Bandito just jumped over him to do a tope, which I thought was awesome. There was a frog splash. There's an amazing spot where FTR was going to do the Shatter Machine, and Bandito turned into a DDT in the match, really quickly. Thought was great. The spot where they actually hit the power driver, I thought it was over, and then Bandito kicked out. I was like, oh my God, is Bandito really going to retain? And then they hit it again, basically. Cash hits a tope on Brody, so he's not involved, and they hit their big pile driver. And FTR are now 3-time AEW Tag Team Champions. I think we both predicted this yesterday. No, I predicted it yesterday. You picked Brody.
Yeah.
But I just thought this match was so good. And FTR is easily one of the greatest tag teams of all time, I think, at this point. They're just undeniably good. They're reliable because as someone who covers Dynamite and Collision, it feels like they're on every show doing a promo or a match. They're just constantly on the show. So all credit to them. I thought this was one of, if not my favorite match on the show, Blackhawk. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, I completely agree. This match was incredible. FTR has a long-standing legacy of being the greatest tag team in whatever company they're in.
Yeah.
With WWE, they were the greatest tag team. Maybe not New Japan. I wasn't watching New Japan.
No,
back
they
when
were
had
just
their
definitely
run.
part-time New Japan.
Yeah. And so when we know with New Japan, they really haven't focused on their tag division in a while. So, but yeah, this was fantastic. I did want Brodito to win,
Yep.
but I'm not mad at the FTR win here after that match. If it would have been kind of a bleh like match, I would have been kind of upset that they took it off Brodito.
Sure.
But this was incredible. I look forward to what happens with Brodito, since originally they were just kind of a toss together tag team
They were.
that have
Yeah.
really gotten over and really worked well.
Yep.
Do they just split, or do they stay together for another chance, or
It's
what
interesting.
do we see from moving on?
I want Brody in the finals of the Continental Classic is what I want. I don't think he should win. I think I know who's going to win the Continental Classic. I think for that reason, he needs to be in the final. Bandito, I think, does need to focus on the world title for Ring of Honor. It just has not been a focus even on their show every week. I just think it's time to either give up the title and just focus on AEW, or really focus on building up the Ring of Honor world title at this point. The pay-per-view is in a week from Friday, and I think it's going to be him and Blake Christian, but there just hasn't been a lot of built for it. Because again, Athena's usually the main event for these shows. So again, I think focus on the Ring of Honor stuff. I think Brody needs to be in the Continental Classic and have some bangers and win some matches over some credible guys. He's been in the Continental Classic before. He's had some interesting wins. I think it's time for him to go deep in the Continental Classic, either the semis or actually get to the finals. FTR, what happens with them? Now, it's funny now. I did bring this up. Is that the Bucks are babyface now? Would you do Jurassic Express against them? You could have the Bucks. You could obviously have a returning Christian and Cope want a shot because they obviously beat them at All Out. Jet Speed also, they were still feuding with FTR as well. A lot of babyface tag teams FTR can continue to Outrunners, Bang Bang Gang, a lot of babyface tag teams they could wrestle with. So AEW's tag division has been maybe their hottest it's been in years lately. So I was really happy with this match. Let's move on to something I predicted yesterday. Couldn't be happier to predict. Ricochet is the first ever national champion. Now, this match honestly was hilarious because the match starts and it's Hurt Syndicate 1 and 2, Lashley and Shelton, and they're wrestling and not punching each other. Ricochet, you just knew he was going to be number 3. And he comes out, he says, "We paid to see you guys punching each other and seeing Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. No one came to see you guys wrestle." And Ricochet became the punching bag for every entrant, where it was really smartly done, by the way. So Ricochet comes out, Gates of Agony take out Hurt Syndicate. So Ricochet does not have to wrestle Lashley and Shelton. But the whole story of the match was every time an entrant came out and had to hit their hot moves, it was on Ricochet. He became the punching bag for every wrestler. Overselling as always. He's my favorite seller in pro wrestling. His sell, because Claudio came out number 4. He went for this tope, and Claudio went mid-air uppercut. It was unbelievable, the sell job, to make that look really good. And Ricochet was like, "I'm so excited, it's just me." Then Claudio came out. He was like, "Oh, God." And Danny came out. He's like, 2 Death Riders are now out. Orange Cassidy came out, slapped his bald head before taking a powerbomb. Trying to go through. Then it was 3-on-1. Yuta got involved in the match. Let's go through it. Kevin Knight had some really good moments in the match. Mark Davis hit some filthy pile drivers when he got involved. People forget him and Kyle Fletcher were one of the best tag teams in the last 5 years, and he sadly got hurt. And while he got hurt, Kyle Fletcher became one of the most important pro wrestlers for AEW. So hurt him a lot. But then Speedball and Kevin Knight had a face-off and a duel-off, as they say. Daddy Magic and Danny Garcia got into it, wrestled outside the ring. Then Hurt Syndicate got back up just started chucking Ricochet across the ring like 4 or 5 times, both of them. But the finish was Kevin Knight hit the UFO splash on Yuta. And then as Kevin Knight got up, Ricochet hit the big move, the Spirit Gun, and Ricochet wins his first title in AEW. This was absolutely the right decision. Ricochet was someone who was one of the best non-WWE guys before he got signed, when his PWG and New Japan and Lucha Underground work was so undeniable. Had a good run, decent run in NXT, so forgettable in the main roster to a point where people thought he couldn't cut a promo. This guy is one of the best promos in pro wrestling right now. Plus, he is one of the best in-ring guys you can find on the planet. He's so dynamic, where he can obviously look cool, but he makes the other person who he's wrestling always look good as well. So Ricochet's the first national champion. He'll defend the title for the first time at Final Battle in the Ring of Honor, because this title is supposed to be defended across CMLL, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AEW. But I think this is a home run pick, so I'm very happy. Blackhawk, I had to go through the whole match before I get to you, but what did you think of this? What did you think of this one?
I thought it was a great pick as well. Fun match. When you get to these casino gauntlets and like the Royal Rumbles, you don't expect 5-star matches. You just expect a lot of fun, little good entrances, and everybody hitting their big moves, and then a big conclusion. And they did a really good job at that. One of the things I really liked was the Daddy Magic coming out.
Yes.
And he went straight for Daniel Garcia and took him out completely. And then the rest of the Death Riders were like, what the hell? What the hell, Daniel? Like, get back in here. But yeah, I think this was a great pick. One thing I would wish they would do with these Casino Gauntlet matches is stop mentioning that more people could come out when obviously nobody else is coming out.
Yeah.
They did this like the last 5 minutes of the match. They were like, somebody else could come out. I was like, the countdown clock hasn't hit in 8 minutes, brother. Like, nobody's coming.
And I think we talked about this all in too. There has to be a Casino Gauntlet where it's over with the first 2 people in the ring. The whole point is, right, every time there's a Casino Gauntlet, there's always matches to determine the 1 and 2 spots, because the match can end before anyone comes out. Yeah. I think the next time we see a Casino Gauntlet, there needs to be a finish with the first 2 people, because that builds the tension in all of the people coming out, because then it just becomes a regular battle royal where you just expect you're waiting for 20 people to be in the ring. I think I get it all in. You want to get a lot of people on the card. I totally get it. I think there's situations like this where I would prefer 3 people, 4 people. Even I think there needs to be a time where the first 2 people determine the winner or loser right away, 2 minutes into a match, and be like, wow, 19 people thought they were going to be in the match and get a title match or try to win the title, and they didn't get a chance.
Yeah.
So I think it's the big missing piece for this match. I think they'll do it at some point, but I think it's missing. But are you happy with Ricochet? But you're happy overall with the match, though. Yeah,
very happy. Ricochet's the perfect choice out of who they had.
Yep.
The only other person I would have said was Orange Cassidy, but Ricochet is definitely a better choice than Orange Cassidy, as much as I love Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, some reports were saying Lashley and Ricochet were seen as the favorites based on backstage talk, and I think I do think Ricochet, Gate to the Agony, Hurt Syndicate do need to move on. They've been feuding for feels like such a long time at this point. And I think Hurt Syndicate should be doing tag or trio stuff, and now Ricochet is going to be doing some single stuff, which is very exciting. Let's move on. No Holds Barred. The beginning of a bloody evening of pro wrestling started here. Kyle O'Reilly indeed gets the win over Jon Moxley. This match was gross. It was all about a fork. The whole match was a fork. Moxley stabbed O'Reilly, I felt 30 times in the head with it. O'Reilly was bleeding a lot. He did the poke through the nipple as well. It was bad enough Moxley did a fork through the air with Darby at Blood and Guts, but then it was a nipple. And then Tony Schiavone says, I don't know if I can say that. Next Kyber goes, I can tell you right now what just happened. It was a fork through the nipple, Tony. I was like, oh my God. It's crazy. Then O'Reilly was using the submission while using the fork. There was a chain spot where they're both hitting each other with chains. Moxley hit a stomp, a curb stomp. Then he hit a stomp on a chair. And the crowd for like 30 seconds was humming Rollins' music, which I thought was so odd. But I don't think people realize Moxley hits the curb stomp in every match. Like he does. Like, it's a part of his arsenal. But once again, the finish was O'Reilly in the ankle lock. And without hesitation, Moxley taps very quickly. It's not about the drama. It's about that the moment he's in a move that he cannot get out of, he taps out. So after, it looked like Moxley like gave respect to O'Reilly. I was like, whoa, this is I thought he was going to shake his hand, but he's kind of like gave respect to O'Reilly. And then Moxley was just pissed. Everyone was chanting, you tapped out. He hits a couple more shots. Just released, by the way, to social media, Moxley cut a promo talking about how it's just the regular season. The playoffs are coming up soon. Don't know what that means. But as Mox left, there was a weird look between Claudio and Garcia where, should we go with Mox? There's like a weird stare moment. They're building to Moxley, to this group being over. I think that the group probably needs to be over by the end of this year. But I still thought it was gross. It's not for everyone. If it's not for you, for me, blood, it's fine for me. But like, if you're like, when people were complaining about blood and guts being too bloody, I'm sorry, it's the name of the show. It's blood and guts. Now, if you're going to complain about that, there was a lot of blood. Basically, from this point on, there was blood in all the matches. I totally get it being too much for people. And especially because they did back-to-back, basically no DQ matches, which I thought was weird.
Yep.
But Moxley has been really good in the ring for the last 5 or 6 months in particular. And it's nice. He's he's losing a lot lately. Lost to Darby, lost in Blood and Guts, and losing to O'Reilly again. Even in their singles match on Dynamite, he punched the ref to get DQ'd, and he was a count-out loss to O'Reilly. So he's losing a lot. We'll see. What were your thoughts overall, Blackhawk, on this match?
Yeah, I thought this match was great. I see your point when you're talking about a lot of blood. Like, there's a point where
it's fine for me. I just know
lot of blood.
Yeah.
And there's a point where it moves into gore.
Yes.
And gore is not awesome. I'm not a huge fan of that. Like the nipple thing leans more into that gore territory where I'm like, maybe we don't do that.
Yep.
But I thought the match was great. I really enjoyed it. Jon Moxley has been incredibly consistent at putting on good matches ever since he lost the championship.
Yep.
And Kyle O'Reilly is like an unsung hero of the AEW locker room. And so for them both to get, a spotlight this close to the main event is awesome. I don't think we'll get the Death Riders break up by the end of the year.
Ooh,
I think we get it mid next year. I think
mid next year. They're gonna do this for
I think
4 months.
I think they're gonna sow a couple more seeds before they pull the full trigger. Because right now, Moxley's just losing a lot. There hasn't been any like true visible dissension between anybody in the death. There's just a look. And that could be interpreted in many different ways.
Sure.
And so I think there'll be more definite signs in the future.
Yeah.
But I think that with the Continental Classic coming up, and we'll move into.
You think Moxley's in the Continental Classic?
I don't know.
Claudio is always in it. Claudio is always in it. I was actually thinking about this. I would have Pac in the Continental.
Yeah.
And maybe Yuta. It feels like Garcia and Claudio are always in it. I think you do need to mix things up.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Moxley's being up like it's the regular season. I wonder if for him he needs to win the Continental Classic. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes me feel like he is in the Continental Classic.
Yeah.
But that's such a funny title for the Death Riders to have in their midst, because like a lot of their matches end with shenanigans and run-ins. Yeah. And like the whole point of the Continental
There's
title
no
belt is
interference in
like
the Continental
no interference at all. So it would be kind of a funny belt to put on any Death Rider, but yeah, I don't think we see a breakup with them until I believe after Takeshita and Okada. I think they flesh out Takeshita and Okada first,
Oh man.
and then we have a Death Riders breakup, because like the Death Riders have been such a focal point for AEW for so long
Yeah.
that they're running this really hot story with Okada and Takeshita, and two of the best wrestlers they have on their roster. They don't want to overshadow one or the other with the other. And so I think you have to do the Okada Takeshita first, and then we could break up the Death Riders.
I don't know. I think this needs to end by World's End. I gotta be honest. At World's End, I think it needs to be over. I think you start the new year with a new looking group. If it's a new leader, I think Moxley also just needs Moxley is seemingly against taking vacations and stuff. I think he needs off. It's a lot for people don't also. He's another guy very similar to FTR. He's on every Dynamite, every collision. He is on all of the shows. Yeah, I think this needs to be over by World's End. I think they need to do it at World's End. I don't know how we get there. I don't know if you put Mox in Mox has lost so many matches in a row. Why does that earn him a shot in the Continental? You can say, well, he's a 3-time world champion, all of this stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
You can massage your way in there. He's losing a lot. And I think it could be like a triggering thing where Moxley, for some reason, is in and Claudio and everyone else is out. Corey is on Facebook saying Moxley's getting the boot. He is. Blackhawk, I gotta be honest, it's a nightmare scenario if we're at May or March or April, and this is still a group completely right now. I think it's a nightmare scenario.
See, okay, I don't think it'll last that long. I think we'll start seeing stuff in February.
Yeah,
because I think Takeshita and Okada will probably wrap itself up, mid-February, sometime around there. I think they'll have, the Continental Classic. My prediction is Takeshita wins the Continental Classic.
Yep.
And then he and Okada will go, off and on for a couple weeks until they have a big blow up.
I don't think one has to coincide with the other, though, in my opinion. Death Rider stay together. Mox gets beat down soon. I agree. I think the group is going to stay together. Corey, do you think, while you're joining us, do you think they're going to add a new leader, or do you think there's a leader among the group? We talked about this yesterday. Pac, to me, seems like the only person that would feel comfortable leading the group. I know Claudio seems like you talk about Claudio being your option.
Yeah.
I think Pac is the option, especially because Pac's winning matches consistently now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think, as of now, I know we talked about this last night. Maybe people here didn't watch us last night. Do you feel like they need a new group? Like once Mox gets kicked out of this group, do you think they need another leader? Like a new person enters the group to take over, or do you think it's someone within who takes over the group?
Shock. It's Gabe Kidd.
Oh my God. Gabe? He's already in one freaking group. He looks like he's trying to take over one particular group at this point.
It's Gabe Kidd, and they absorb them into the War Dogs so they can fight House of Torture.
Oh God!
So they can even up the numbers against House of Torture.
Moxley's getting in your head now, dude. Moxley's getting in your head. Moxley means but I mean Moxley, by the way, people who don't know our bit from our Tour of Japan podcast, we have a chatter named Moxley in our chat who loves the House of Torture in New Japan, which could piss me off pisses me off all the time. So just for people out there who are listening who don't watch our Tour of Japan, but please, while we're at it, please join us every Friday night from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We talk all things Japanese pro wrestling. We talk New Japan, Stardom, Marigold, Noah, anything Japanese pro wrestling. We break it down every single week. And we're going to be talking a lot about Takeshita and Okada over the next month or so on that podcast. So please join us every Friday here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all of those things, because we are live from 7 to 8 Eastern every single week. Without further ado, I think it's time to move on to the next match. I was shocked they did back-to-back no DQ matches. Now, to be fair, both matches did use completely different objects than the other, which they had to. They couldn't use the same spots.
Yeah.
Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe for the TNT title. The stipulation here is if Briscoe would have lost this match, he would have had to join the Don Callis family. It's the third pay-per-view match this year between the two wrestlers. Fletcher won at Dynasty and at Wrestle Dream, but Mark Briscoe gets the big win here. A lot of new champions on this show. He is the new TNT champion. Another match where both wrestlers were egregiously bleeding very early in the match. We had a brain buster onto a chair very early in the match. We had Briscoe, who had Fletcher on a ladder, and they went for a tope, and he went through the ladder. Let's see if I can keep going through these spots here. Fletcher threw Briscoe off the top rope through a table with a Don Callis distraction. And Fletcher kissed Don Callis. He was covered in blood. It was very funny. Then Fletcher powered like an Alabama slam through a table. We had a thumbtack table. We'll get to that in a second. They both went through some chairs. There's a huge spot where Fletcher was hanging in between the ladder, and then midair, Briscoe went for the froggy bow. Fletcher jumped. It was a really well done spot. I bought a ticket. I thought that was the finish. Fletcher kicked out. And then there was a screwdriver. And this is where I think a lot of people thought it probably went too far. Fletcher used the screwdriver that after he used it on Briscoe, he licked it, the blood off of the metal. Now, he has done that before. He did that in the Ospreay steel cage match. He is a sick dude, that Kyle Fletcher. Happy to him for doing it while he's so young. Then he was trying to murder Mark Briscoe, because there was the end of this match, Blackhawk, where he stuck the screwdriver up the turnbuckle, where he wanted to hit a brainbuster off the top rope through, murder him. He would have been dead if he hits that move, okay?
100%.
He was trying to commit a murder. I could not believe the cops didn't want to like run in there and break out, because he was literally going to pierce the guy's skull with the screwdriver, okay? Thankfully, Mark Briscoe got away from that. Hits a top rope razor's edge through the barbed wire table. Jay Driller through the tacks. Briscoe wins the TNT title. He won the Ring of Honor World title, but this is his first ever belt he's won in AEW. This whole match was about family, because he didn't want to join the Don Callis family. He loves his brother, loves the conglomeration. Now I think they're going to do this match again, because now this ties up the win-loss at 3-3 in Fletcher Briscoe, but I think it's on hold because we learned that Fletcher will be in the Continental Classic. We'll get to that Backstage 7 in a moment. But what did you think, Blackhawk, of Fletcher Briscoe number 6 here?
I thought this was great. They have incredible chemistry together.
Yep.
And they work so well together. They've wrestled a lot together, especially for the TNT Championship. But every match feels distinctly different, and they still put on an incredible match each time. So I am never mad when I see them face off against each other. They literally tore down the house. In this match, and it was awesome. I definitely preferred this over the No Holds Barred match.
I did too.
This one was much better. Because when I think about like No Holds Barred or No DQ, I think about a lot of destruction, like stuff's getting destroyed. And the first one was a lot of people getting destroyed. This one was like a lot of stuff and people getting destroyed. And I did like the screwdriver. I thought that was a good touch to bring that back out.
He was trying to murder.
Yeah, other than the attempted murder. But that was like a big thing for the Don Callis family, and they haven't really done anything with it for a while. And I forgot about it, and then he brought out the screwdriver, so that was a really good callback to something that used to be very, very big for the Don Callis family. So yeah, I'm very happy with the Mark Briscoe win. I didn't think Kyle Fletcher would win this tonight.
You picked
no
Briscoe.
part of me did. I picked Briscoe, and Very happy with the result. I would have hated Mark Briscoe and the Don Callis family. They would have just been like beating him. Like he's just been like a dog.
Yeah.
And so very happy with the result, very happy with the match. Really, really, really good one.
Yeah. And again, Kyle Fletcher, they see him as a top guy for them.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even 28 or something. He's just very young. He's been put in a lot of good situations. He's really over-delivered in these matches. And Briscoe gets an emotional win. So later backstage, we'll connect this. Don Callis is being interviewed with Hechicero holding the money that's won in the next match. But it's about Okada and Takeshita. And Don Callis says, now it's about the Continental Classic because Okada has to defend his championship in the Continental Classic. And I was like, I still don't think we need the champion in the actual tournament, but that's just me. It was fun when Eddie Kingston like defended it every match, but I think it got to a point where now it's every year the champions in the match. We talk about this with New Japan. I don't love that all the champions are in all the tournaments. But then Takesha's like, I'm actually going to be in the tournament. And Okada's like, what? And then Okada kept blaming Takeshita for the match. He said, you're the reason why we lost. And then Fletcher, really good promo, made a logistical sense.
Yes.
He goes up to Fletcher and Takeshita says, you guys keep telling me we're pro Okada, we're pro Ishida, all of this. And every time I need help, where are you guys? He's like, I'm here whenever you guys are in need of something. And ever I'm in a match, like he's in a no DQ match. Okada and Takeshita could have gotten involved and helped him win. Didn't. Fletcher says, F you guys, I'm going to be in the Continental Classic as well. And everyone's like, whoa. So regardless of what happens, we're either going to see Fletcher Okada or Fletcher Takeshita in this tournament.
And Don Callis like reacted in a way that was very funny to me. Like he does not care about Takeshita and Okada fighting. All he cares about is gold and the family. Because he was just like, oh, that's another chance for Don Callis' family to keep the belt.
Yeah.
So he was like, I do not care about them fighting. Like they can fight, whatever. We just want the gold. We just want that to stay here.
Yep. Now I'll say this too. After this match, I thought it's where the crowd started to fade. Not blaming the crowd, but it was a lot of big moments in a row. And this next match had another big moment to end on, which I thought really did destroy the crowd for the final two matches.
Yeah.
It's a long show. We'll talk about that towards the end of this review. Let's move on to the 6-man tag. We had a $1 million match. The Young Bucks and Josh Alexander defeat Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express. The Bucks had an intro where it was a wheel, and it looked like it was going to land on Bankrupt, but it landed on the $1 million. And Don Callis gave a present to the Bucks. There was this whole outfit where it was money on their pants, and it was by Matt Jackson's like touching the bags, making sure it's real money to make sure it's all, this match was great. It's a great trios match. Obviously Kenny and the Bucks just have unbelievable chemistry. Jungle Jack Perry his Hurricanranas were bananas in this match as well. People don't realize, again, Luchasaurus can do a moonsault with ease for a guy that height. There was a moment of the match was when Kenny and Luchasaurus had the Bucks above their heads, and it looked like Jack was going to hit the Doomsday. He hits it, and the Bucks landed. They flipped and landed at the exact same time. It was unbelievable, the timing of that move. They hit all these super kicks, but it leads to the big story here. So the Bucks pinned Jack Perry, and I was like, whoa, I was not expecting them to win the match. And they're leaving with Don Callis with all the money, and then Josh and the rest of the Don Callis family are beating up Kenny. And the Bucks looking like Don's like dragging them to the ramp, like, please get out of here. And then the Bucks put down the money, and they not just are like there to help, they beat up the Don Callis family. And I was like, whoa, they're going full babyface right now. The Bucks then shake hands with Jack and Luchasaurus, and the whole crowd is chanting the Elite chants. And the crowd's like hot for this part of the show. And they're chanting to hug it out with Kenny. They offer a handshake, and Kenny like knocks it away. And I was like, oh God, they're really going to delay this. And then Kenny goes with a big hug.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. Kenny was selling a knee injury the whole match. He did his usual out of the top rope tope, but he landed. I don't think he landed weird because he was selling it and still moving good the whole match. But this could be another reason to get Kenny off TV for however long. But as of now, the Elite ish is back. Maybe with Jurassic Express. But it seems like Kenny and the Bucks are back together. It was a funny moment when they were leaving where Kenny and Jurassic Express were walking to the babyface ramp, and the Bucks were going to the heel ramp. And then they stopped. Like, oh, well, we'll come with you guys on the ramp. But what were your thoughts on this 6-man tag?
Yeah, I thought this match was great. One funny thing that happened was I believe it was Matt Jackson completely missed Luchasaurus.
Oh, bad. It was Nick.
Yeah, bad. Nick, yeah.
The
bad miss.
Okay. Yeah.
And I thought they played it off really well because the commentary was like, he got him a little bit. he got him a tiny bit.
You can't lie to the audience. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was pretty funny. But yeah, I'm glad the Elite's back. What capacity they'll be in, who knows?
Yep.
Because Kenny, as much as Kenny, I love Kenny and everybody loves Kenny. He is not the Kenny Omega of the diverticulitis. Is that what it was?
Yeah. He's banged up. I think is the thing.
Yeah.
He's banged up. I still think when he's in the matches, he's really delivering. I still think.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's like also a point where like he can't do he probably couldn't do a G1 again. Like he's gonna do these big matches and he's gonna have to take some more time off for his body to heal.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the future holds for the Elite. I mean, that doesn't mean he can't come in to do promos, do that kind of stuff. But I would love a trios run. I don't know if they stay with Luchasaurus as like a whole group, or if they're just friendly with Luchasaurus, or not Luchasaurus, Jurassic Express.
Yeah.
I'm also very happy Jurassic Express is back in full force, and can't wait to see what they do. Marco Stunt actually works at a car dealership down the street from me.
Oh, there you go.
So that's very funny. I was thinking about him during this match. I was like, I wonder what he's doing. Like if he's watching, and hanging around. But he did sign with Memphis Wrestling, so he will be doing stuff with them in the very near future. Yeah,
I was also thinking about this too after Hangman lost. I was like, what if because if Swerve's doing the world title stuff, what if Hangman now, maybe we go full on OG Elite with Hangman, Kenny, and the Bucks? I wonder.
Yeah.
And I also think you're right. I think if protecting Kenny, putting him with the Bucks 6-man tags on a weekly basis, I think only helps Kenny, where he doesn't have to be carrying matches and he can just do his thing. I think it's awful where people were saying, I think it's just time for him to hang it up. I just think it's people are saying that. This guy has been one of the best wrestlers of my lifetime, and he went through diverticulitis, by the way, with it, wrestled some amazing matches for years. Like he dealt with so many physical problems for years, and I think it's okay. I feel nervous when he wrestles. I do. It's hard not to. He's one of my favorites of all time. It's really hard not to. He's banged up, clearly. I just hope they just reunited. It would be weird that then Kenny's off TV now.
Yeah.
Because they just reunited. It would be weird. So I don't know if that means the Bucks and Jurassic Express do stuff. Who knows? So that moves on to the women's world title match. Chris Statlander defeated Mercedes Moné, who is now a 14 belt Mercedes Moné because she won the Ring of Honor television title on Dynamite. This match I thought was really good. They had an unbelievable trilogy of matches. Last year they wrestled, same venue, same pay-per-view last year. Mercedes beat her both times last year. An unbelievable matches. To me, Mercedes is the best female wrestler in the world, and she gets a lot of hate. And I think people book themselves into thinking she's going to win every match. And guess what? Sometimes she just is not. This whole feud was about Mercedes finally putting over Stat.
Yep.
Stat came out of an alien ship for this entrance, which I thought was nice. This match was about targeting Chris's left arm. She was selling the entire match. Mercedes hit 14 amigos, not just 3 amigos, 14 suplexes in a row without letting go of Chris. Unbelievable. There's a moment where Mercedes was going for the Meteor on the outside. Chris caught her and turned it into a Blue Thunder Bomb on the outside. The rip breaker from the top rope was filthy. Looked like it really hurt Mercedes. And then at the end, she kept going for this Saturday Night Fever the whole time. And then at the end, she finally hit it. No kick out. That was it. Stat won with the one finish. Really good match. Sadly, the crowd was kind of cooked at this point because I talked about it. You had a huge no DQ match with Moxley and O'Reilly. Another no DQ match. And plus, it was a heartfelt moment with Briscoe winning the title. Then the Elite reunite. It's just a lot of big moments of a lot of things going on. And then you're cutting to just and no offense. The match I thought was really good. It's just the crowd. This match did not end until midnight Eastern time. I think it was getting late. It was a long show. And the match, I don't think, ended until midnight. So at this point, sadly, the crowd was kind of out of it at this point because I thought the match was way better than the crowd was. Yeah. I'm not blaming the crowd. It's such a long show. And you felt it. Yeah. Thought for the first time watching this match, Blackhawk.
Yeah, I agree. The match was great. And yeah, it's when you run these long shows, you really got to start them earlier. Even if you're on the East Coast, and the West Coast, it starts at like 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
You got to start them earlier because if you want the crowd in it for that long, you're going to have all these big moments ahead of time. You want them to have the energy and not be asleep, in your last 2 matches. And it's something that AEW has done well in the past, but I don't know why this one was so late in the day.
The last 2 have been back at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only reason I could think of was college football, but they're not really even competing with any really top tier games.
Not today.
Last couple of times, but yeah, it's very interesting. The match was great. Big props to Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné. I hope this kind of starts that downfall of Mercedes.
Yeah.
Not saying that I want her to lose it or I want her to lose it because I hate it. I want her to lose it because I think it would be an incredible story for her to lose everything and climb all the way back. Yep. Also, big shout out to Tommy Invincible, who was one of her belt holders and one of the ops for Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
there at the end of that match.
13 shirtless guys holding a belt.
Yeah, yeah, all oiled up. Every one of them were shiny.
Oh, this was a weird show. I thought people were overly tan on this show for some reason. There were some orange people, and then Daddy Magic, and then other people. I was like, these people are really oiled up for this pay-per-view. I was like, oh my god, what did everyone do backstage for God's sake? But yeah,
they're running a slip and slide back there.
I thought this match was really good. They have great chemistry. I just feel bad because it was at a point where the crowd was kind of cooked. And here's the truth. In general, these shows should not be going, including the pre-show, 5.5 hours. It's a long show. 13 matches. People are sitting. And plus, you have to pick up people in the venue, right? The show starts at 7. But people are allowed in at 6 o'clock. So people are there for 6.5 hours watching the show. It's just too much. And no matter when you start the show, it's just too long. Now, do I think WWE shows 5 matches are good? Yes, but also that show also drags because there's so many commercials in between. There should be a happy medium for AEW where they do a good job of matches over. Let's just keep things moving.
Yeah.
But I do think some of these, we talked about it, right? The women's 4-way. Would love another women's match on the show, but that felt like a Dynamite Collision match more than a necessary match to be on the card, right? Eddie Kingston's tag match doesn't need to be on the show. I think you could have done one pre-show match and do the Big Boom AJ as one pre-show match to set up the pay-per-view. I do think it's at a point now where it's too much wrestling, and I thought it was a mistake doing back-to-back no DQ matches. It's a lot of crazy stuff happening, and then plus the Elite reunion. It's a lot of big highs for the crowd to then watch a regular wrestling match. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I think also might be a hot take. I think the Moxley O'Reilly match could have been on Dynamite.
You're also and it has been twice before.
Yeah,
so.
and I think they could have just done that on Dynamite, ended it there.
Or Pac and Darby Allin, right? That
Pac and Darby Allin would have been a great Dynamite match. There's just like a couple of these matches that you're right, like the show feels way too long, and there's some stuff that they could have done on regular TV, which would have been fantastic on regular TV and just as good on the show. But you could cut this down to 7 matches, and maybe a pre-show match. Go down to 8.
Pre-show matches.
8, yeah. 8 total matches, and you cut down at least 2 hours into the show.
And that's the thing, right? When you're putting a pre-show match is also the kickoff of the show. You're now Pac and Darby, I don't think started until like 8:20, 8:25.
Yeah.
Like that's the opening match, and then we're 25 minutes in and there's no match, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. I think here's the thing though, as AEW, as someone who watches every single AEW show for 6 years, they have not changed this format for 6 years. I don't know what it would take for Tony Khan to change it. And again, I think that this format is more forgivable when it's at 3:00 Eastern and the shows are over at 7, right? Are they long shows still? Yes. But at least people aren't up like we are going to be. Now we're closing in on 2 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. I'm almost 1 a.m. here.
Yeah. It's a lot. Plus people who, we know, I think we have people there covering the post scrum as well. That's a long night to cover a show.
Yeah.
Sit there.
Post scrum's like an hour and a half. Yeah,
because I did Ring of Honor, which again I'm really honored and was happy to be there. Again, you're there for over an hour doing the press conferences. It's a big commitment for anyone covering it, like we are, and fans. You can just tell these final 2 matches. It was just the crowd had enough of wrestling. They were tapped out for the night, type of thing. It's a shame because I think Statlander and Mercedes deserved a really hot crowd for the match. But that's where we ended up things. Now, let's talk about this big main event. We finally hit the main event, Blackhawk. Samoa Joe is the new, AEW World Champion. Second time he's won the title over Hangman Adam Page. It was bloody this whole show. Joe had a massive cut down the middle of his head that you saw the moment it happened. He could not stop bleeding the rest of the match. Like it was a flood of blood. Like the moment I saw it, I was like, he needs stitches because it was a gash, open gash, right down the middle of his face. And they showed the exact spot where it happened, where the blood was still stained from where he hit his head. Hangman started bleeding, but this was all about the finish, which was Shibata comes out with the world title. And he thinks he's going to get in the ring. Eddie Kingston, who's wearing an AEW like behind the scenes gear shirt, which I thought was hilarious. But Eddie cancels out Shibata, right? Hobbs comes out. This is 10 days after his match with Hangman and the Falls Count Anywhere. He gets in the ring. Hangman beats him up. And here is the big twist. Hook, who used to be in the ops, now teaming with Eddie Kingston, comes in the ring. And he hits with the referee down, by the way, at this point, hits Hangman with the title belt, unveils he's actually wearing an ops shirt, so he's now back with Samoa Joe in the ops. Joe hits the Muscle Buster on the title and wins the world title. Shocking, really shocking finish to the show. Hangman, for many people, was the easiest pick on the show to win. Like, I love the story here. Never thought Joe was winning the title.
Yep.
I do think in wrestling, we are too in love with title reigns meaning more by the length. Where it feels like now if someone loses a title a month or 2 in, it's like a bad, like, what are they doing, We've been conditioned as wrestling fans to think that over the last 5 years, I would say. I hated it when the moment it happened. I got to be honest. When the pin happened, I was not happy. I've thought about it more. I don't mind it because Swerve comes back at the end, new music, new presentation in general for Swerve. Him and Hangman beat up the rest of the ops people because Joe cut a promo earlier in the show where he had like these, he's like, we have a movement of ops. I was like,
Yeah.
what? When that happened, I was like, what? So Swerve and Hangman saved the day, right? At the end.
Yeah.
I totally get if you want Swerve in the world title picture. I don't want to see Swerve fight Hangman yet again. Like, you got to let them sit away from each other for years now to redo that feud, right? So on the paper, right, if you want to do Joe, if you want Swerve back in the world title picture, I totally get taking the belt off of Hangman, right?
Yeah.
I also just don't love that Joe is still the trios champion. Now that could change. Maybe he's like, well, Hook, we can what do you call it? Freebird it, right? Let's have Hook, Hobbs, and Shibata defend the title, and Joe. I hope they do that. So Joe can just focus on the world title. A lot to get into. We had someone say how much they hated the main event as our first comment on the thing. I was in the camp of not liking it the moment the pin happened because I don't know. I thought, honestly, going into the show, I thought Hangman was going to win and MJF was going to return and have a stare down with Hangman because there was a report earlier today from Fightful saying MJF will be back very soon. So I thought they were going to end the show with MJF staring down Hangman because, again, MJF lost to Hangman earlier this year and really wants and hinted at that rivalry. So they're pivoting to Swerve Joe, who had a feud. Swerve was the one who beat Joe for the world title. But before we get all of this, that reaction, Blackhawk, what was your reaction when Joe pinned Hangman?
Honestly, I was more shocked than anything. Because it felt like AEW was putting all their eggs into Hangman's basket.
Yep.
And I agree with you about the we need to stop thinking about the length as a indicator of a good title reign.
Yeah.
I've always been the camp of defenses. Notes a good title reign, like amount of defenses over time.
Yeah, that's what I liked about Fletcher's reign because he kept being like
Yeah.
this ninth defense already as the champion.
Yeah. Exactly. Or like Sami Zayn on with the US title
Ilya.
and like now Ilya.
Yep.
I think that's higher quality than, if Ilya loses it in a month, whatever. Like he already had 12 great matches with it. And so I much prefer short title reigns with lots of defenses over long drawn out ones with no defenses.
Yep.
And so I wasn't as upset as I feel like a lot of people were probably going to be with this because I thought there's going to be a good reason for it. And then when Swerve came back, I was like, oh, because like obviously everybody wants to see Hangman and Swerve go at it again for the championship.
Yeah.
But it is still a little too recent. They just became friends again.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe friends.
Exactly.
Friends enough to where they would defend each other, but maybe not have dinner together. So
yeah.
And so this makes sense, makes a lot of sense. And we talked about last night, MJF coming back. I would have been shocked if MJF came back. I thought, if anything, he would have come back in the Casino Gauntlet match and won that.
He still hasn't cashed in the contract yet from All In.
Yeah, exactly. And so
as well,
I'm super interested in this world title picture now.
Yeah.
Not to say I wasn't interested before with Hangman, but now it feels like a world of doors of opportunities have opened up for the future, especially with Swerve coming back and then Will Ospreay, Hook being part of the ops again. Will Ospreay should be coming back fairly soon because their injury timeline with Swerve was very, very close together. Their return time.
Yeah.
So we could be seeing Will Ospreay back in the mix pretty soon. A lot of moving pieces here up at the top, which is very, very nice.
Yeah.
And like not to compare it to WWE, but WWE does not have that many moving pieces at the top, which I feel like is why their main event scene gets a little stale. But this one, when you think it could get stale, they do something that changes everything.
Yep.
Which is very, very nice.
And people like this, I don't think this is a shock title change for shock title change purposes. They clearly have a plan. Here's what I'll say. Hangman should be like, I get a rematch, because I usually am not in that camp, but Hangman beat Joe clean at Wrestle Dream, and Joe got a rematch out of it. If I was Hangman, I was like, I got freaking screwed out of the match. How do I not get a title match? Now, that gets interesting, right? Because Swerve is back, like the new music. It's more, I guess, serious. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, because MJF can cash in the contract at any time as well. And he's going to be probably back by the end of the year. You have a month, right, to build. You have Hook involved. So here's what my only thing I want here is Joe should not be Trios champion. I don't want both, because since Joe has been in this feud for months, there's been no effort for the Trios titles.
Right.
They've had random Trios matches against like Hangman and Eddie and Hook, but those were not matches you felt like were like real stories for the Trios.
Yeah.
They have too many good trios to not focus on the Trios division. I think they've done a good job bringing back relevancy to the tag division.
Yes.
If I was them, I would say Hook is back. Let Hook, Shibata, and Hobbs do trio stuff, and let Joe focus on the world title. Now, I don't think Joe is going to be champion for forever, like for a long time. But I don't know if they're going to be like Hangman wins it right back. They could do that easily. They could have Swerve maybe win the title, but I'm nervous about that, because Swerve, this is literally the same story from last year, which is Joe beat MJF for the world title, and then Swerve's first world title reign was beating Joe. So do you want to kind of repeat the exact, same thing you did a year ago? Maybe Joe makes it past both. Maybe like Joe, there's a war between Joe, Hangman, and Swerve. MJF just sneaks in, catches in, wins the title, moves on. Who knows? They have options. You're right. It makes you want to watch on Wednesday, I think.
Exactly.
You know what happens next. Now, some people, and I totally get it, Hangman is the main character of the show. He is. He totally is. I don't think this hurts him at all. He literally got screwed over by like a whole group of people. And he's going to get a rematch, because if Joe can get a rematch off of losing clean, Hangman can get a rematch after whatever happened on this show. I just don't want to see Hangman Swerve wrestling each other for like a year or two. They're coming, like, it's such a great, amazing feud. You want to save that for when it feels like they need to wrestle again. And I think sometimes they're around each other too much, at this point. I don't know. What do you think? Like, are Swerve and Hangman going to beat Joe? Do you think MJF's going to sneak in? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, I don't know. We have a month to build for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
None of these people are going to be in the Continental Classic, I would imagine. So I don't know. Like triple threat, maybe? I don't know.
I
would not
assume. Yeah, I wouldn't do a triple threat either, unless it was the group of MJF, Hangman, and Joe. I wouldn't include Swerve in that triple threat just yet.
I just think from a logic perspective, Hangman needs a one-on-one title rematch.
100%. Joe definitely should give him another chance. But the only problem I have is, where do we go from here now that they've done a steel cage match? Like WWE has Hell in a Cell, but I don't think AEW really has anything of that caliber. Yeah. And so like steel cage match is like the highest you can go as far as like keeping others out and focusing on one-on-one, and they couldn't do that then. So I don't know where they would, like, how they would book this. Because
Also, sorry, I don't get the ops movement thing. Like, they have not set this up at all. Like, not at all. And then on the pre-show, Joe's backstage was like 8 extras wearing ops shirts. And I was like, what? And he's like, this is a movement? And I was like, I don't understand what the movement is. Like, I don't understand.
yeah, I don't get it. Maybe they'll explain it later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Weird.
I do think MJF is the next title holder after Samoa Joe. I think he finds a way to sneak in and cash in at some point, whether it be, post match, whatever. He's gonna slither his way in. He's a great snake, and he'll cash in at the opportune time and end up walking away with the belt.
Yep.
And then I think everybody will be chasing MJF for a little bit.
But yeah,
I think I think they will keep Hangman and Swerve on the same side.
Okay.
I don't think they'll make them face off against each other.
Yep.
Unless for some crazy reason they're both in the Continental Classic and they just happen to match up or something of that nature. I think they'll be on the same side. I don't know if they'll do a tag run or what, but I think they'll be in each other's corner coming from the back at least for the foreseeable future until something crazy happens again. Because they're going to have something insane happen for them to have a falling out worth them having a falling out.
I'll say this. I'm leaning more positive the more I think about this. I'm still not over the moon with what's happening, but I'm also not this is awful or I was pissed at Dynasty this year when Moxley beat Swerve. I thought Swerve had to win that match.
Yes.
And people were pissed in the arena. It's not that type of apocalyptic moment where everyone's pissed. I don't think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Swerve coming back, because I thought if they were just going to end up Joe winning, I was like, whoa, that would be that's a depressing way to end the show. Swerve coming back makes sense. I just don't. Yeah, World's End is December 27th at the Now Arena in Chicago, which is a big arena because I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's where the first All In was. So I don't want a triple threat. I just don't want Hangman fighting Swerve again for years, 2 years from now. They just don't need to touch each other for 2 years. I think it's very important. But at the same time, what are we gonna do? They're setting up Hook. Hangman's gonna want revenge on Hook. Are we gonna do a trios title match where it's Hangman, Swerve, Eddie Kingston against the Ops? Because Eddie's gonna want revenge on Hook. He's we were attacked.
Exactly, yeah.
What happened? Does Eddie join the Ops? I have no idea what's going on. Because they're making it people want to join the Ops. It's clearly what the statement is. People want to join the Ops. I'm definitely confused on the Ops movement, and hopefully this gets explained on Wednesday. I was also shocked they did not announce the full bracket for the Continental Classic. They're saving this for Dynamite or they said matches are on Tuesday. Don't you want to get people excited for matches on Wednesday? I was shocked. They didn't. They announced the Don Callis family 3 guys are in it, but other than that, you don't know. So I'll say this. I thought this was an excellent show. I don't think it was their best of the year. It was too long. There were some, I think FTR Bandito and Brodito was fantastic. I thought Fletcher and Briscoe really delivered. Stat and Mercedes delivered. The Bucks, Alexander, Kenny, Jurassic match really delivered. Some weeks finishes Impact Darby, for example.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, I think AEW is going to get hot again because they're going to get, Swerve will be back, is now back. MJF will be coming back. First half of next year, Ospreay will be back.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be back early 2026, but maybe March, April 2026.
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating, man. They're going to get hot again. Moxley's probably going to get kicked out of the group and be a babyface. What does that look like? I don't know. I'm excited for AEW. I enjoy it every week. It's my favorite brand, even though I watch all brands. But yeah, this is a finish. I'm still going to need to think about, sleep on, reflect. And it's all about the follow-up. If it's an interesting follow-up,
Yes.
I'm cool with the shock ending, right? But if the shock ending is like Hangman gets another match and just wins, was this shock
What was the point?
necessary, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I like AEW. Some like look at tonight. We have a new TNT champion, new tag champions, new world champion. These are major titles that are changing hands. So I think it's exciting. So any final thoughts, Blackhawk? We've been on for an hour and 40, which I think is necessary. There's so much newsworthy stuff on the show. But final thoughts on Full Gear here as we're wrapping things up.
Overall, really, really good show. It also does a really good job of making sure that you're watching Dynamite on Wednesday. Especially with it being a holiday, you kind of expect numbers to be down. So they give you a really good reason to tune in. So very excited for the future of AEW. I do agree. I think they're going to get hot again very soon, going into the new year. Can't wait to see what the Continental Classic has for us.
Yeah.
As well as what they've got planning, with the new year ahead. And with their partnerships, we saw El Sky Team from CMLL. Looking forward to seeing, what we get more out of CMLL partnership and with the New Japan partnership, especially with Tanahashi retiring at the beginning of the year. It could be very beneficial for all three brands to really work together and figure some new stuff out and move some people around and send some people some places they haven't been before. And so I think the sky's the limit for not only AEW, but CMLL and New Japan and that whole partnership. But just focusing on AEW tonight, the future is very bright. And I can't wait for it. I'm very excited to keep watching and see what they cook up in the kitchen.
Yeah. So as always, by the way, thanks for everyone. We had basically 500 people watching us, which is at 2 a.m. Means a lot to us. I did not expect as many people watching us this late in the wee hours of Sunday morning, but really appreciate everyone joining us. We are here with live videos every single day. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please follow us on Twitch, X, Facebook. We have videos, posts, all of that every single day. Before we go, Blackhawk, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Blackhawk Walker on every single social media website. I believe my Instagram is also the Blackhawk Walker. But I do have my main account is Blackhawk Walker. So you can find me anywhere under that tag.
You can find me at Dinenberg Max on Twitter, Max Dinenberg on Instagram. I'm here for BodySlamNet. Basically 6 nights in the week on socials. I do highs and lows for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and Collision. Plus, I'm the host for every single WWE and AEW post show. So Blackhawk and I will be back in 1 month's time, breaking down AEW World's End on the 27th. Next Saturday, I will be here at a much earlier post show because WWE gets out pretty quick. So me and Rami will be back for our first WWE post show in a long time because it's been all like Saturday Night's main events recently. So this Saturday is Survivor Series War Games. So Rami and I will be on the post show at around like 10 o'clock next Saturday night, breaking all things down War Games. Rami and I should also be back for the December 13th Saturday night's main event because it'll be John Cena's final match. And then I'll be here with the post show with you for World's End. So tons of stuff going on in the world of pro wrestling. It's the end of 2025. So everyone, if you don't see us until Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Enjoy, spend time with everyone you love. Do what you want to do on Thanksgiving. I'm thankful to be on BodySlam talking the thing I love watching the most, which is pro wrestling. So thank you to everyone who joined us. Thankful for 500 people watching us. Really are thankful. And we'll see you guys in another video quite soon. Thanks, everyone.